Wow. What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Um, Let me start out by saying that there's no way in hell this would happen. There's no way in hell because we're the Dallas Cowboys. We've got Stephen Jones, who's always worried about the bottom line. Okay, we know this. We know this, that it ain't going to happen. But I'm going to dream for a second here. I'm going to try and put everything that's transpired in the last week together. The Cowboys looked like fools all season long. All season long. From the time Jerry Jones said we were going all in, and then it was all in was about getting Micah signed and Dak and CD and everything else, and then it was we're going to do more with less, and then it was your players are talking about people knocking on the glass, while you're working out being a distraction, and Jerry Jones basically saying, F your distraction, I'm just happy that we're selling more tours. That literally your players are blinded by the light. Blinded by the light. And Jerry Jones saying, we don't care. Except unless it was the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, in which case they put curtains up for that, and concerts. But for your team, the number one draw, nah, we can't do that. And seemingly making every mistake possible, including waiting around and missing opportunities on getting some of the best prospects at coaching, just bundling it and then getting Brian Schottenheimer. That maybe the culmination of all these things that have just looked horrendous, that finally the Cowboys have broken through, because you see them actually out here trying to get the best assistants and coordinators possible. And you look at it and say, they've made some great moves. And actually hearing Stephen Jones saying, you can't keep doing the same things over and over again and expecting a different result. Which is true. The thing that made the Cowboys great in the 90s was taking some chances, trading away Herschel Walker, getting those draft picks, drafting players, having a conveyor belt of talent, going out and getting a Dion, going out and getting a Charles Haley and things. And, taking some risk. Taking on Charles Haley was a risk because he kind of divided the locker room in San Francisco. But you could see that he was the difference in winning for the Cowboys. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That was the key moment right there, getting him. And then later, of course, getting Deion Sanders. Those were moves that made the team better and able to compete with others. Bro, you're on the precipice of the same thing right here. You've already heard Micah Parsons. Boy, look at that old house in there. Old house that's in the woods right there. Oh. Sorry, it's me, and I love my old houses and things. I'd love to go over there and check that out, but I don't have time. There's another one over there. Okay. All right. Forgive me. I'm sorry. That's my passion. It's old shit, because I'm old shit. If the Cowboys want to make a statement that we're about trying to win, you go out and you get him. So let me throw a couple of different things at you. Osa Ndigizua is top 10 defensive lineman, and thoughts are that he's going to command between $15 and $20 million in the open market. The Cowboys say he is a priority to re-sign him. And I like that. However, if I look and say Osa and Digazua versus Myles Garrett, bro. Now, difference here, of course, is Osa and Digazua is an interior defensive lineman who is just a free agent. So all you got to do is pay him. Myles Garrett's probably going to take 2 number ones. Now, maybe because the Cowboys' number 12 pick is not the same as somebody else's number 12 pick. Somebody else's first round pick, because it's a high number 1. That maybe ends up being a number 1 and a couple of number 2s. And I'm okay with number 2. I'm okay getting rid of our number 2s because our number 2s suck. The other problem is, of course, the amount of money that he makes. Here's where I look at this and think, would Micah Parsons look at this and say, getting Myles Garrett is going to help me prolong my career, and the tandem of us is just going to make us that much bigger. Myles Garrett and me on my show together every week, bam, we'll knock him out on the field, we'll knock him out in social media. And if you're Dak Prescott, would you be willing to say, you know what, let's restructure this deal to get this thing done? Now, problem, of course, is you still have holes to fill with running back, where you're looking at maybe getting Genty. Wide receiver, you need a really good number 2. Defensive line, interior, although getting Myles Garrett is going to make everybody else that much better on the defensive front. Linebacker, secondary, you got a lot of holes. So when you start thinking about that, without that number 1 pick this year and probably the next year, are you good with that? I think that if you were to, because understand, there's ways of making these things work, okay? If you were able to get Osa and Digazua back underneath here, and understand, you got triggers that Mike Fisher and Jeff Kavanaugh have pointed out where we could get $100 million. $100 million. I know Stephen Jones is always saying that, it's not the right way to build a team and this, that, and the other, and it's going to blow up. I think that if you went out and got Myles Garrett and the team understood that we've got like a 3 or 4 year window, and in which case we'd have to blow it up, I think they'd be okay with it. Because at least it looks like we're trying to do something more than what we have done over the course of the last 30 years. We're trying to get this shit together. And I think fans would recognize it, because we just went through a horrific year. And it wasn't because we sold out years ago and trying to go ahead and be great. We just ended up just sucking for no damn good reason. So I think that if you're the Cowboys, you have to entertain the idea of at least investigate and put the scenarios in front of you. If you have a defense, and I'm going to say that Myles Garrett and a healthy Micah Parsons together will literally take 7 points a week off the board. Will literally take 7 points a week off the board. That's my thought. That's 7 more points that you don't have to score to win. That's the way I would look at it. How do the Cowboys look at it? Well, they're going to say 2 number ones. They covet their number ones, so they're not going to do it. But you have to look at this and say, hat in hand to everybody, we're in this shit together. We're trying to win a Super Bowl and see if your guys work with you. I know it's not going to happen. There's no chance in hell. But it's nice to dream. Have big dreams. Could you imagine, though? Could you imagine if the Cowboys made that trade? The internet would freaking explode. Yeah, it would literally go off. Alrighty, good people. We'll keep tracking shit. Peace.